I was 16 years old, and she was 14 years old. When we first met, I was dating her friend, Heidi, and she was dating my best friend, Lance. Maybe it was the blue eyeshadow, maybe it was the 80s hair that gave me dancer's legs, but if I remember correctly, it was truly those big, beautiful brown eyes that I would catch myself getting lost in every time I looked at her. The more time we all hung out together, the more I realized we were all dating the wrong people. I couldn't get her out of my mind. She was all I ever thought about from the time I woke up to the time I went to sleep. I was crazy for this girl, and there's nothing I could do about it. One day we were all at a friend's house. I asked her where the restroom was. I told her we were to be having a shower. When we got there, I pulled her inside and kissed her. I heard her when she said, "There, now you know." Well, there must have been something pretty special about that kiss. After I broke up with Heidi and we were plans, and Eveland and I went out on our first date, July 5th, 1948. I knocked her on the door, so incredibly nervous, trying not to show it, looking sharp with my skinny black tie, my pink pants. I was old enough to drive. My father loaned me his passenger MRT for this special occasion. I've been saving up for weeks, working after $3.35 an hour as a delivery boy for Tunnels, so I could take her somewhere fancy, a nice little romantic French restaurant called the Eveland. The only reason I know it's July 15th gate because somebody was smart enough to write it on the back of the picture. Thank goodness. So we started dating. A few weeks later, I had plans to go to live in West Berlin for 3 months with our exchange student Josh. I went halfway around the world leaving my new girlfriend behind. We wrote each other many letters, which I saved and still have to this day. Reading them now reminds me of what it was like to be in love, or what we thought love was at such a young age. Also, when you were young, it seems very important to make grand gestures to impress the one you love, and maybe when you're older as well, now that I think about it. So, Josh and I went to a local hardware store to obtain some cans of spray paint. We traveled to a remote part of West Berlin, and where I professed my love for her by tagging one of the most famous hot walls in history, the Berlin Wall. A year later, by the grace of God, they would tear that wall down, bringing a symbolic end to the Cold War. But what I wrote on it would live in my heart forever. I like to say the writing was on the wall long ago. When I got back from Berlin, I don't really remember breaking up, but life happened and we kind of went our separate ways. We graduated high school, went off to explore the world. Emily went to college, I got a job in Southern California, but we always kept in touch and always checked up on each other. One day, a couple of months after her 21st birthday, I called her up out of the blue and asked her what she was doing for New Year's Eve. She didn't have any plans, so I offered to buy her a plane ticket so she could come down and celebrate it together. She didn't even hesitate. The next week, we were having dinner, drinking champagne on John Wayne's yacht off the Southern California coast. When this incredible weekend was over, she flew home and we went back to her own mind. For the next 25 years, that's how it was for us. We both got married and divorced a couple of times. Dated enough people to figure out exactly what we wanted and what we wouldn't tolerate in a relationship. Ultimately brought us back to each other. Fate brought us back together for the last time 3 years ago. I'd come into town for Thanksgiving with my family and asked if I could go and take her out to dinner while I was there. At the restaurant that night, I poured my heart out to her, explaining that I had been in love with her my entire life, and that she has always been the one. No matter where I was living, who I was with, or what was going on in my life, she was always in my thoughts and in my heart. I told her I was done and it was now or never. 3 weeks later, on December 15, 2018, she told me she loved me, changing my life forever. Emily, I have never smiled so much or laughed so hard in my entire life than in the past 3 years. Because of you, I now know what true happiness feels like, and I've never felt more comfortable in my own skin than when we are together. You're an amazing mother and role model, and I'm grateful that you allow me to be a part of your children's lives. It is an honor to be with someone who is so generous, caring, and compassionate, someone who is all about doing the right thing, without exception, and who is a perfect example of what it means to be a good human. I love you with all of my heart and soul. Emily, love. I promise to always be the man that you deserve.